Joining me on the program today is TJ Grant, who is the International Partnership Director with World Vision, and he joins me today. Hi, TJ.
Hi, Lizzie. Great to be on with you and the listeners today.
Yeah, this important week, the Chosen campaign. Now, we're talking in particular today about the village where this will make the difference in all these people's lives, Odupi. Tell us about the need and tell us about this place, TJ.
Odupi is a really interesting area in northern Uganda. Lizzie, I was there last year, had a chance to go and visit the community and meet many of the folks there. So what makes it really interesting is you have many South Sudanese and other refugees who've come into Uganda, who are living in the area, and local Ugandans as well who live in that area. And so it's a mixed community. You've got refugee families, you've got host families, wonderful people, amazing culture, very vibrant, but some real challenges in terms of education, in terms of food security, in terms of healthcare for the children. There's a real lack of services and supports. And so amazing people, but some real challenges and real needs. And especially if you consider some of the refugees who've come with literally the clothes on their back. And I can tell you one story here in a minute, Lizzie, maybe of a woman I met. But yeah, so really challenging stuff and real role, I think, for World Vision and amazing Kiwis and New Zealanders to come alongside and provide support.
Yeah. Something that is so foreign and so far away from us, not just in miles, right, but in terms of lifestyle. Now, you just touched on somebody that you met. Tell us about that, TJ.
Sure. So one of the days on the visit last year, Lizzie, we met a woman named Pony Elizabeth. So Pony Elizabeth, yeah, great name. Pony Elizabeth was a South Sudanese refugee. Her husband had been killed in the conflict in South Sudan. She had had to flee with her five children, and she talked about this harrowing journey from a rural village in South Sudan to try and get over the border. She's got three or four young children, that she's walking with, two that she's carrying on her back. They're trying to hide from the soldiers who don't want them to leave the country. A couple days in, the soldiers take all their food. And so then she has to arrive bare feet with these kids with nothing to Uganda. And now they get settled. She gets set up with a little bit of food support and food rations. And so then when we met her, um, she talked about how in some ways she was happy to be in Uganda because they were safe. They weren't being harassed by soldiers. They weren't in the middle of a conflict, but just struggling to be able to provide for her children, for her family, and so that her children could go to school, that she'd be able to feed them and support them. And she talked about, Lizzie, how um, there was local restaurants or local hotels in the area, not kind of hotels that we would be familiar with, but for people, the places to stay there in northern Uganda. And what she would do is she would go and offer her services to fetch water for the hotels or to clean clothes from the hotels. And she'd be walking miles to fetch water. She would clean clothes from these local hotels, and she would sometimes earn $1 a day for
Wow.
a day's labor doing this work, come back, make some food for her family. And so they were really struggling to survive. But Pony Elizabeth, what was incredible is despite telling us this whole story, despite this harrowing journey, she had such hopes for her children, and a couple of her children are up for sponsorship,
Oh, wow.
which is amazing. She really believed that they could build a better future. She had this dream of building some small businesses and starting a baking business. And so, a woman who's come through a harrowing journey has incredible resilience and real potential. It just needs support for her and her family to help that be realized and help them through just a really difficult time.
Yeah. That's a big story, isn't it? I'm just thinking, the need there physically, spiritually, emotionally, on every level, and how incredible. And Pony Elizabeth's life. So you said there, that she's got a couple of kids up for sponsorship. What difference will this Chosen campaign make in their lives, TJ?
What I think is so incredible about Chosen, Lizzie, is it takes all the best things that people would know of child sponsorship that World Vision has been doing for decades and decades around the world, where we're able to come and provide support for families like Pony Elizabeth around healthcare to make sure that there's health services for her and her children, around education supports, where we're supporting schools and families and teachers to really equip them to be able to provide good education for children like Pony Elizabeth, and for livelihoods and savings so that families like hers can make an income, can earn a living, and then can be providing for their children. So in so many ways, what Chosen and Child Sponsorship does is provides all of these holistic and long-term supports to build sustainability for children and families and communities. What's awesome about Chosen, though, the real spin on it that's so special, and I was actually back in Uganda just last week and had a chance to visit a Chosen party, is how it's really flipped the script and changed the whole narrative. Instead of a sponsor picking their child, with Chosen, as you know, children are the one who get to pick their sponsor. And so we were at this amazing Chosen celebration and party in an area called Alito in Uganda. And it was like a big party and celebration. They had balloons and all the parents and children came, and they were doing education and fun activities with the kids and training. And then one by one, the children would go into this tent where there's all these pictures on the wall of potential sponsors, and the children would take their time and they'd really look carefully, and then they would pick and choose their sponsor. And it's so empowering for the child. They're, as the local team there described to me, picking a special friend. And it was so special. And it really empowers the children, puts them at the center, as child sponsorship has always done, but really puts them in the driver's seat. And having been chosen myself, Lizzie, by a wonderful young boy in Bangladesh some years ago, and just recently again as well. It's so transformational as a sponsor, the feeling and the privilege that you get to partner with amazing communities and people in places like Uganda.
Yeah. TJ Grant, thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, a pleasure, Lizzie. All the best to you and the listeners. Blessings to everybody. We so hope you get on board with Chosen and take part in it.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you can catch all our interviews on Star. See you next time.